5 mistakes. 5 mistakes Nigerian leaders has always made. 5 mistakes Nigerian leaders have always made. Nigeria as a nation got their independence 60 years ago. And for these 60 years, if it were a baby, it would have grown. It would have grown to have a lot of children, a lot of sons and daughters. For these 60 years, it is expected that we would have solved a lot of our problems. It is expected we are supposed to be a successful and a progressive nation. Why in some areas we have done well, in other areas we've not done anything. We are still sluggish and slow like the millipede. And because we want to change, and because we want to grow, we want to improve, some of us choose to tell us some of the things we did well and others we did not. Our leaders who choose to rule us, who tell us they want to lead us, who told us they are our servants and they want to make Nigeria to become a great country, they have made 5 mistakes. In this video, we want to talk about it so that we can see how this mistake can be rectified in order for us to move ahead. Someone is dancing, is beating a band, and they still want himself to be clapping. Success will elude such a person. We want to grow, we want to succeed, we want to survive, we want to become a first-class nation. Then there are things we need to do. We need to do them and do them well. 5 things, 5 mistakes our leaders have always made. When we got independence in 1960, the whole country was jubilating. They were dancing. In fact, every year, December 1st, October 1st, we are always celebrating this day. But what exactly are we celebrating? We have seen one challenges after another overtaking us and reducing us. Instead of us going forward, we are going backward. And this backwardness has cost this nation a lot of things. It has brought starvation. It has brought poverty. It has removed us from countries to be named as first-class nation. The effect of these 5 mistakes has brought militants in the creek, has brought Boko Haram that cannot be contained. It has also brought Alamajiris in the north that are turning to become another thing. If we should keep on pushing and moving in this format, we are not going anywhere. The ship will sink, and a lot of people are going to have pain. That's why World Poverty Eradication has risen up to speak about it. We are not complaining about what the country is doing, but we want to find solutions to most of those challenges this country is facing. Because this country does not belong to one man, one man idea cannot transform this country. One man mentality, thinking, cannot. Belief and mindset. We need a collective organizing of sound mental mind that will provide ideas and systems that will solve our problem. From 1960 till today, each of our leaders that have successfully taken over the mantle of leadership to lead this country continue to repeat just one mistake. And these 5 mistakes, they are costing us a lot of harm. The leaders that saw why we should leave, we should tell the British to go so that we can become leaders of our country. They had a great dream. They had a great vision. They saw something. But what did they saw? That after 60 years, we are not doing anything. What exactly was that vision, that dream? That thing that magnetized their mentality to brace fear and confidently face the British to tell them we want to rule our country. As leaders continue to move one after the other and Nigerians continue to live one year to another, from the result we have right now, it looked at either these leaders have forgotten why they want to rule themselves, or they really do not have any plan rather than just to have a country and push them into difficulty and suffering. We respect every effort of the leaders to really put the nation to be one, and how they sincerely want to make Nigeria a great country. But since we've been running around the circle for 60 years, it is time for us to look differently, to ask different questions, to think differently, and look for other informations that can move us from where we are right now to where we ought to be. Because if we don't, we are going to find life very difficult. This country will be facing different difficulties, and a lot of people are going to be pushed back into poverty, hardship, and scarcity. That's why World Poverty Eradication will not shy away from bringing out these facts. It will not shy away from telling us the truth that Nigerian leaders have failed to do 5 things that would have placed us where we ought to be. And as I am talking and you are watching me on this video, you are anticipating to hear what these 5 mistakes are. One of them is our leaders fail to see the real resources we have as a country. They have also failed to see these resources and refine them, like the way you refine diamond, you refine gold, you refine silver, and use them to solve the problem of this country. They have neglected the human being in this country. They have neglected the human resources. And they have only taken care of the political class and leaders. Instead of these resources to become diamond, to become gold, to become silver, that will brighten Nigerian life, economy, and transformation, this population have become a problem to the country. They are giving birth to children that are becoming alamajeris and becoming Boko Harams and militant in the creek. The reason is because these leaders, they fail to see the world where it is moving to. Our leaders are not supposed to see us locally. They are not supposed to see us in a state form. They are not supposed to see us only as a country. They are supposed to see us as people that are living in a globalized world. So for 60 years on this journey, as other countries were moving from one state to another to build a system, to build their country, to build infrastructures that will place them as a first world country like Dubai, like Singapore, like China, like Japan, like US, Malaysia, and all the rest countries that are growing, they only saw how they can hold the people, put them in a state whereby a lot of us don't even know where we are, we don't know where we are going, and we don't know what to do. One of the mistakes, of the 5 mistakes, is the human resources were not appreciated by the leader. Because if they appreciate us, we would have been given an education that a graduate will leave school and he will not be jobless. If for 10 years, every graduate that leaves school is finding it difficult to get a job, that means they are a liability to this country. And liabilities cannot create any change. 5 mistakes these leaders have made. They neglect the human being in this country. They fail to give them an education that will enlighten them to love their country, motivate them to love their country, and drive them to build a country that all of us will be happy to visit. We will be proud to tell other nations to come. We will be proud to protect this country. We will remove Boko Haram, we will remove Nigerians, we will remove militants. It's not by gun, it's not by the bullet, it's not by fighting them. It is by teaching them and motivating them to see the benefit of a nation that will protect and care for them, they, their children, and their future grandchildren. So, 1, they neglect the human resources. 2, in their neglect of the human resources, they fail to give them the education that will make them to love their country and die for it. Obama is an American by parents, by father, by mother, and a father by Kenya. But when he left America to Kenya, he told them, I am an American president. He didn't tell them I'm from Kenya. So another mistake most Nigerian leader has made is to stand as a leader and they are not leading us to where we're supposed to be. Most of our leaders saw where they came from. They saw their language. They saw their tribe. They saw themselves. And they provide for only this class of people, and the rest of the nations was left to struggle for themselves. Today, every person in Dubai wants to invest in it. Every Chinese man wants to invest in China. But most of our leaders and our allies, they are taking the fruits of our resources away to other country and leaving this country to struggle. Why do we look for loan from other country? When some of us are having this money and we are not ready to bring it to develop this country. When we are sick, we want to fly out to another country for a medical care. Why this medical institution could have been built and we only ask experts to come here and do what they can do, and we pay them. So 5 mistakes they have made. They neglected the human resources. And so they were not refined. They were not polished. They were not planted. Information to grow and love this country was not in them. Another thing, mistakes. I call it mistake because they were not aware of the problem, the consequence of their actions, what it will cost this nation. $12 billion can create a farm We will bring in machines from China, anywhere, to industrialize our farming system. That today, this produce will be industrialized and shipped to Nigerians in their home, export to other countries, and the fruit will come back to develop us. But $12 billion oil money was wasted. It is not accounted for. That is another mistake our leaders have made. Today we are looking around and we are looking at our land, we are looking at our people, we are looking at ourselves, forgotten that this money came and we did not use them wisely. I call it mistakes because these same leaders are already here, living comfortably, and many Nigerians are suffering. Except those they use as political stooges and tools to help them to carry out actions that did not give us asset, instead it placed us in liability. That's another mistake. Another mistake is their dream to rule forever, and when they see that no man can lead and rule this country forever, they planted political tools that could still run and work for them when they are out of government. And today they call it political godfatherism. In this action, many Nigerians were reduced to poverty that it is impossible for them to vote out non-performing leaders. Instead, many of them continue to change, I'm very sorry to say, like chameleon, from one color to another of party, with the same ideology, coming back to repeat the same mistakes. Because the people are poor, mentally restricted, and ignorant to decide what they want. And because a lot of them too were not given information to identify exactly what they want and whom they are. So we hear only of the leaders. That's another mistake. That's another mistake. Because only a president, governor, senator, state house of representative, federal house of representative, and state house of assembly, they are too small to solve the problem of this country. We were not thrown to be in this place. God planned for us to be here with a purpose. But every child born in this country is locked up from bringing out his or her talent in order to edify this country. Because every structure, strategy, infrastructures, and system that we make them to shine has been locked up in the thinking of different names: religious, politic, sectionalism, tribalism. I just don't know how to call it. This is another mistake of sectional sin, that when the president is from my place, I will be developed. So the moment the man comes into position, is to build his state, is to build a village, and leave the rest of this country to struggle. That's another mistake. Another mistake is our leaders fail to see what can transform this country. We need just motivation. Motivate Nigerians to believe in themselves, to believe in this country, to believe that this country is for them. Because when few are breaking the cake and eating it, and the rest of the country are crying in hunger, it shows that this country did not belong to them, nor they belong to this country. Nigeria is a father. Nigeria is a mother. She is like a hen that will gather the chicks, protect them from the hunger of the vulture and the eagle. But here we are. A lot of Nigerians are so poor that they can do anything to get their bread every day. The leaders fail to motivate them. The leaders fail to make Nigeria a place. You see the honey bee. They fly out and must come back to their honey. The bees can never fly and forget where they come from, because they are creating something, sweet honey. Nigerians should be given this kind of privilege. The senator can afford to travel and come back and live anywhere, but it's difficult for Nigerian students to get a visa to another country. It's difficult for a Nigerian to enter a university in his home country. It's difficult for a Nigerian child to write an exam and go into the university to study. And that's why there are a lot of illiterate. That's also why the youth are discouraged. They don't even want to go to school. Besides,